Yeah, yeah. Well. Gagester, we're back.
We are back after a
1 week hiatus.
A little week of rest and relaxation and lots of news to swirl about.
Well, we're live streaming this on Facebook right now. I can't read everybody's comments right now, but this is Ricky Rod.
This is Gage Gwynn.
And this is Throwing Bombs podcast. It's a fan perspective about our favorite sport of football. And we will be doing these episodes sporadically over the next couple of months until we get the podcast schedule set up. I'm having a friend of mine, Aaron, redo our branding for the podcast. So we should have that artwork soon. But man, we have a lot to talk about. I mean, there's been so much already in the NFL.
I know, man.
In the NFL news. It's been a little crazy. Do we just want to tick everybody off first?
Sure.
Because I want to do that.
I want to
upset everybody.
Talking about?
I want to talk about Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I want to talk about Colin Kaepernick because I've already seen... I want to talk about... Because I've already seen a lot of hate already.
Yeah.
Simply because there's a rumor that the Panthers are going to bring him in as a backup. Okay, that's
right.
The rumor. But before we get to that, I want to talk about basically that lawsuit, right?
Okay.
So basically the loss, I don't think a lot of people understand what that's really about. I think people are just like, oh my God, he was kneeling during the anthem and it was disrespectful. I don't think a lot of people really knew why he was doing what he was doing. But the bottom line is this, okay? Let's talk about the NFL and how they love to sue their players. My favorite example is Tom Brady.
Right.
Okay? They sued the pants off of him. They fined the Patriots millions of dollars for Deflategate, right?
And picks, right?
And that thing went to court.
Oh, yeah.
And they won.
Yep.
Okay? Adrian Peterson, who got in trouble for beating his child. Remember when he beat his kid and those pictures popped up online?
Yep.
And they immediately, he got, I forgot how long his suspension was, right?
It wasn't the whole year, was it? It was like...
It was a pretty good one. Like, it took a chunk out of his, he lost a lot of money. Of course, they went to court, right? Mm-hmm. And they won that one, okay? I don't think the Ray Rice thing ever went to court. No. I don't think he ever tried.
He got suspended indefinitely because
that was it.
He knew, like, obviously he wasn't going to battle. It's like
that's two big examples, right?
Yeah.
Where the NFL went after its superstar, went after Tom Brady, basically said, "Hey, there's something here." They challenged it. Remember, he played all the way like through. That preseason, remember?
Yeah, and then
there was no answer.
The ruling,
Well,
it was like what, a couple days before the season started.
I mean, I've said this before. Would you ever see the NBA suing LeBron James? No, not in a million years, right? But the NFL very much went after Tom Brady, and they won.
Yep.
They took it, they challenged it in every court possible. Oh, with Zeke Elliott, same thing. Mm-hmm. Zeke Elliott's the same. That's another example where they went to court, NFL won.
Yep.
Bottom line, they won. So that brings me to Colin Kaepernick. Okay?
You have an evil smile on your face
yes,
right now.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because this is interesting. The NFL didn't want to take it to court.
But Colin did.
Kaepernick did.
And Eric Reed.
And guess what? They had to settle.
Yep.
The NFL
I think they knew
settled
they were going to lose.
because they knew they were going to lose.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, and then of course there were rumors of the settlement money, like $50 to $80 million. The lawsuit was for lost wages. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
The NFL owners were accused of colluding, saying, "Hey, we're not going to hire him. Bring him in." Now, statistically, did he set the world on fire his last year in the NFL? The answer is no.
Well,
but he wasn't awful. He wasn't Ryan Tannehill awful last season, to be honest.
His. Let me look up his final stat line while you're talking about it.
I think it was like 16 touchdowns. And
it was like 4 picks. It was
4 picks. It wasn't awful. He was on a bad. He was on a very bad 49ers team. But it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not excusing. We've talked about the anthem debate ad nauseum. I am wholeheartedly about respecting our nation and country. Okay, but he was not disrespecting. There was different things he was doing it for different reasons than what the media has always said.
Yes,
bottom line, and we've gone on about this, but the bottom line is this though: the NFL settled with Colin Kaepernick. That means they didn't want to take it to court because they absolutely
lose.
Dude, can you imagine what the damages would have been if a jury heard this?
Yeah.
I think the damages would have been over $500 million because the NFL is a billion dollar business.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I just want to repeat myself. They took Tom Brady to court. They beat him. Ezekiel Elliott. They beat him. Adrian Peterson. They beat him.
Which his suspension was for the rest of the year, actually.
Yes.
He only played like 3 games.
Okay, and then they wanted nothing to do with this.
Right.
Okay, and I think there was a lot of extenuating circumstances. Like you've got... we had our president chiming in on it. There was a lot of stuff. And I think the NFL knew, hey, they're not going to be able to do this.
Right.
Now does it matter? Like, I don't know. Does it matter if he comes to the Panthers? I've noticed, I saw people online yesterday losing their doo-doo. About bringing him. If he does come to the Panthers, to be honest, all he's going to do is sit on the bench.
Yeah,
he is not.
And he's a good backup.
Yeah.
Would you rather have him or Nathan Peterman?
I'll be honest with you. I want that kid Gilbert that's playing for the Orlando team in the Alliance Football League.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen him? He's the third string for the Panthers, and he's lighting it up right now.
Right.
He's doing incredible in that league. So what if Kaepernick comes? I would challenge ourselves to be better than what we would write negatively online.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if he comes in here, he's basically just going to sit on the bench. He's not going to do anything more than that. Cam played yesterday or last year with one arm, one shoulder.
Yeah.
And he played till the end of the season, and they had no intention of pulling him out. And he's not that type of player. He's not going to go down and not play. So he's just not going to do that. So I don't really expect, if Kaepernick did come to the Panthers, he's not going to do much. He'll see preseason football. The press will say whatever. Don't let the press, turn that into something that is not worth that anger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's really not a big deal. He's been out of the league so much, it's not going to be... I don't expect him to be that great. I understand people, well, it's the point. Well, good. You don't have to watch it. That's great. You don't have to watch the Panthers. But I did want to point out that, hey, the NFL didn't want that to go to court, and I think they knew why. I think they knew they were going to lose if it were me. But anyway... Let's go ahead and hit some free agent stuff because, man, oh, man. I don't even know where to start. Sad. Do you want to start with your boy Flacco?
Let me go ahead and start with remembering my dear quarterback, Joe Flacco.
He got you how many rings?
2008 to 2018.
He got how many rings?
A ring.
He got you a ring.
A ring. Led that team to a wonderful in postseason.
In his best years, he was ice cold.
I know. January Joe, man.
Yeah, he was ice cold. He had ice in his veins, and he was great to watch. Now, hold on. It's not finalized, really.
Well,
free
March
agency,
15th is when
March 15th. It's not finalized. So he did take his physical. They said he flew coach to Denver. Did you know that? Not first class coach.
Yeah, I saw that. He was sitting amongst
and people in Denver are totally indifferent to him playing quarterback there. And this is I do have an opinion on this. When a franchise does this, goes and gets sort of like the Broncos did this with Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. That was a Peyton Manning was a Hall of Fame quarterback, okay? And they managed to get him another ring. You know,
right.
They had some incredible seasons. Of course, towards the end, he wasn't that great. With Flacco, I think he's going to need a better tight end than what's on the Broncos team right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a running game, right? If they can surround him with pieces, I think they can win 10 games.
Yep. Harbaugh, he commented on Flacco, and he was like, whatever team he goes to, if they surround him with weapons and a good offensive line, he'll really succeed. And I was thinking, like, why didn't you just do that while he was here? I don't understand. Like, John Harbaugh talks about, Flacco would have. He's shown that he does this and that when he has all the right tools and when we provide him with that. And I'm like, just keep providing him with it then. Don't crap on him, because it kind of felt like that.
Like when an NFL team does this, so like the Broncos and the Ravens, I'm impressed that they kept him in the AFC.
Yeah,
right.
I kind of wish they would have traded him to Washington.
Yeah, I think Washington, they've already said that Alex Smith, they don't expect Alex Smith back this year. Obviously, they're not sure he's ever going to come back. But, I think John Elway is sort of fighting for his job as a GM. I don't think he'll lose his job, but I think he's trying to tell the team, hey, if we bring Flacco, we can win 10, 12 games this year. At its best, right? If we can build, if they build the defense, and they got a pretty, what I've heard about Vic Fangio,
mm-hmm.
the new coach,
mm-hmm.
that he's sort of a hard-nosed guy, right? They brought in an old school dude, an older guy. He's not a younger guy. He's not an offensive guru to coach that team. So when a team does this, they're saying to their fan base, we're trying to win now. And I also think they're going to try to draft a quarterback again. Elway's always done it. They keep on doing it.
They keep failing.
I know, but you got to try. At least they're trying.
Yeah.
Unlike the Dolphins, who have just said they have stuck with Tannehill. Tannehill got 3 coaches fired, pretty much. Multiple offensive coordinators fired. And then now we're sitting like lame ducks here because nobody wants Tannehill, by the way. I think they've been trying to trade him hard the last month. We'll see what happens. Right, we'll see. Yeah. I don't know, but Tannehill's available too. They're not saying it, but he is. He absolutely is, because the Dolphins have no intention of winning this season. This season coming up, that's not going to happen. I don't think it's. And I agree with this, by the way. I will be mad if the Dolphins win more than 3 games.
You be mad?
I will be mad. We are giving away the lottery ticket for 2020 draft.
Right. Yeah.
I want one of those quarterbacks. I don't care who it is. Tua, Fromm, give me one of those guys.
That Gilbert guy, right?
Heck, we can suck again, and we can go get that kid from Clemson. I don't care. If I see the team, I mean, they've already said it. They keep on using the words, like the Dolphins keep on using the words, like if you read between the lines, they're like, we want our offense to be a multiple offense.
Yeah.
Which means they're trying to become a mini Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not doing that in 1 year, and you're not doing that in 2 seasons. It's going to take like 3 or 4.
Right, yeah.
It's going to take drafting.
Which is a big rebuild.
And the Patriots don't really draft that great. Like, they've just never been great. They just mass picks, and they sort of throw people up against the wall. Mm-hmm. They're sort of genius of just finding. It's almost like they have an analytics department on that team that knows exactly what needs to be at what position.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's nobody on that team that just does one thing. It doesn't seem that way, right? Like their wide receivers block. Gronk is a better blocker than he is a receiver. It's just being a receiver is sexier. But when you watch Gronk block, oh my God, he dominates, right? So. We'll see what happens with that. But there's also been a lot of news this week with old Antonio Bryant.
Oh, Brown.
Antonio Brown, sorry. I always mess up his name, AB. Just call him AB. But he doesn't want to be called AB anymore.
He wants to be called Mr. Big Chest.
Big Chest. Did you see
What is that?
Well,
what is that?
He used social media this past week to throw
Instagram Live.
Dude, he threw Big Ben under the bus. apparently he has a fake account. Did you know that? A fake social media account?
Big Ben?
No. AB does.
Oh, okay.
Antonio Brown does. And man, you got to look it up, man. He's out there. He's like, talking trash about Big Ben. Just a lot of stuff happening. I am interested to see what they're gonna do. Well, they've already decided what they're gonna do. He met with the owner this week.
Yeah, Art Rooney.
Right? Yeah, and you're not gonna miss that meeting, right? You're not gonna miss that. But the bottom line is they agreed to part ways.
Yeah,
which is pretty unprecedented. Like, when's the last time you've heard of that?
Right. Also,
a dude under contract.
He's crazy.
Well, Julio Jones tried this a couple of years ago, but he did it more quietly. He shut down his Twitter and took off the Falcon stuff off of his Twitter a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the beginning of that season, they got him a new contract. You remember that a couple of years ago?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come out and say anything. He just quietly, he must have said something, to the staff. But he, we're starting to see it now more because clubs are redoing contracts earlier in players' lives. Like, it used to be if you had a 5-year contract, first of all, players never play the 5-year contract ever in the NFL. It just doesn't happen. Around year 4, year 3, year 4, that's the year that you renew that contract.
Right.
And if you're going to keep them, give them that big money. And that's what happened with AB, right? Or Mr. Big Chest, right? Well, in the NFL, the trend of getting these guys signed up earlier to save money for the club is that's the new big trend now. So if you got say like you got a 3rd round draft pick that just starts, you got you can't do this with a quarterback, but Russell Wilson's a good example. He was a 3rd round pick, right?
Yeah, 3rd or 4th, yeah.
Yeah, and he comes in, lights the world on fire. You got a player that does that. Well, instead of waiting for his contract to get over, right, and having to pay the dude bazillions of dollars, if it's a wide receiver, lock him in like 2 years into his deal. Say, hey,
right.
Give him a good deal. Just you're not going to give him what Jarvis Landry got at the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, no.
Right. Jarvis Landry wanted top 5 pay. He got top 5 pay from another team. And
arguably a top 5 team in the next couple of years.
Yeah. But there's players like Sue. Like Sue's a good example. He wants the money. There's nothing wrong with that. Zero. The world of free agency created non-loyalty, in my opinion. Right.
I read on, and this is NBA, but it's the same thing because I follow some retired guys. One of the guys commented or like posted a throwback photo of him playing with the Spurs back when they won like championships on championships in a row, like 3 in a row. And one commenter was like, "Man, Steven Jackson, if you'd stayed there instead of leaving and getting that money, you got like 5 championships with him, I think." And Steven's like, "Man, listen, I got a ring. I played really well, and I went and got paid.
Yeah.
A ring is good enough to me.
Yeah.
I don't need 5 rings and getting underpaid when I can go over here and make like $20 million more a year."
Well, okay, so what you're saying is the reality.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
It really is.
But that's not what we see in the press.
No.
Right? The press is always going to play the non-loyalty.
Right, and
the loyalty angle.
Confuses me because...
And the reporters do
when you
that.
talk about like freaking real life...
Yeah.
Let's say I have a job where I'm making like $20 an hour, and then, I have an opportunity to make like 35.
What are you going to do? You're going to go make that $35
Obviously.
an hour. But
Sorry.
when a star does it, or not even a star, a professional athlete, it's looked on as negative.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, because they have like that, the scope is just so narrow on them.
Yes.
And everything they do is criticized heavily.
I think it's easy clicks.
Yeah.
Easy people for it's like Kaepernick. That's so easy for certain types of news organizations to use, right?
And it's also crazy because like literally that will generate so much more like jobs and just
Absolutely.
Like, oh, we're gonna talk about Kaepernick. And
Yeah.
like 25,000 articles on him. all getting paid to talk about how he isn't loyal.
My favorite example, the Miami Dolphins are the worst team when saying they'll publicly say, "Hey, we want to pay and be loyal to our players." The opposite happens.
Yeah.
They will trade them in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, I mean, J.J.
Yes, Sue was a good example. Sue could have stayed on the Dolphins. He wanted to play for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But old Gase didn't want him on the team, right? And there's numerous examples. The running back that's playing for the Texans, Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
Did an excellent job for the Dolphins.
I was so confused when that happened. I was like,
man.
What
well,
the crap?
that's just another example of the organization not being loyal to its players. And it's not the organization. It's just that they've had so many different coaches. They change coaches every 3 years, and Gase was not a fan of Landry. Gase wasn't a fan of Ajay. He wasn't a fan of Sue's personality.
I was going to say, like...
He got rid of him.
Wasn't that 2 years in a row? Like, he got rid of his star running backs?
Yeah.
Literally,
and the locker room,
Lamar.
and the locker room was so toxic, it turned on him.
I mean,
right?
You can see why, because, I mean, if you're constantly in fear of getting traded...
Yeah.
And
that brings us to Mr. Big Chest and, Antonio Brown there, AB, and the problem is this, who's to blame in this situation? And I'll tell you, I think who's to blame. I think it's Mike Tomlin. I think it's the coach.
For sure.
I think the coach, he's notorious for being a player's coach, a tough but a player's coach, and he said publicly that he lets the big stars behave differently than the other stars, right? And I also want to point out, think about this. The biggest star on that team he lets do whatever he wants is Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, yeah.
And Ben,
he has that coach mentality. That's what I read, right?
And Big Ben throws his players under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see Tom Brady calling out players in the press.
Or Drew Brees.
I don't see Drew Brees doing that.
Phillip Rivers.
I don't see
Wilson.
I don't see any of the top 10 guys calling people out.
Yeah.
But Big Ben will call you out.
I think that whole organization is just toxic, man.
Yeah, I think it's because of the coach, because he's allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the conversation he had with the owner of the Steelers concerning Big Ben. He's like, listen, I'm not going to be treated like this. There was a fight in practice a few weeks before that, all that drama. Look what happened with Le'Veon Bell, right? When they let that camera into the locker room and they showed the video of the players raiding his locker room.
That is bullcrap, man.
Well, number one, there's like huge rules about letting cameras into NFL locker rooms. Like, that is a huge no-no, huge finable offense. But all of a sudden, you got the Steelers. There were Steelers posting this video.
Yeah, they were like filming it and posting it on Instagram, yeah.
Yes, and it just went viral instantly.
Oh, yeah.
So, and they allowed that. You know that Steelers organization allowed that to happen. They could have just said, nope, that's got to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think there's some issues on that team. It says a lot when you lose arguably your two best players on your team back to back. Then on top of that, add James Harrison talking about how awesome the Patriots are and how much better it was compared to being on the Steelers with Mike Tomlin. There's obviously major issues going on with the Steelers. And then you've got because we've talked about Le'Veon Bell already, but since Le'Veon Bell, that situation's sort of going to be resolved here in a couple of weeks, I think all of these changes are going to affect where he goes in free agency. Because he's arguably the best running back in the league, right?
Right, yeah.
I think the second best one is at Cleveland right now, and his name is Kareem Hunt.
I forgot about that. Yeah, when you talk about that.
Kareem Hunt got picked up by the Browns. Of course, John Dorsey, the GM, was the dude who drafted him at the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And holy macaroni. It's like that team needed more talent, and they just went out and got the best talent. I think. He's extremely explosive. He's going to be incredible for that team. Now, how long do you think he gets suspended? Because that'll happen soon.
I think probably 4 games.
4? Oh, my God. I was thinking 10. I was thinking 10 games.
You think so?
Yeah, I think 10's the starter. If it's going to be less than 10 probably, but
maybe 4 or 6. I think.
And you know what I like about that situation? Now listen, what he did was awful. Obviously, I think alcohol was involved. We've talked about this too, but magically, the NFL claims they never saw that video. Then TMZ releases the video. I still can't understand how TMZ can get all these videos and NFL investigators can't. And the NFL also told the Kansas City Chiefs not to investigate it. They were also told that, by the way.
Right? Yeah.
So I think that's another huge glaring issue with the league as far as the way they want to do discipline, right? So
here's another NBA example. You remember the ref that bet on his own games?
Oh yeah, that was a huge deal.
Would not investigate that.
Yeah,
they would not tarnish their own brand, so the FBI
had to do it.
Had to investigate that.
Yeah,
that's the same instance with this.
It's a very weird. These leagues, right? Like the NBA is a good example. They took a hit 5 or 6 years ago. Like they were waning in popularity, right? While the NFL was going up and up. Well, all of a sudden the NBA's had a resurgence the last couple of years. The All-Star Game's awesome.
I love it, man. Did you watch it?
Yes. What they do, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching it's just great.
And then the Pro Bowl's like,
and what's funny is LeBron has become like a father figure to a lot of these guys. To Kyrie, there was a lot of drama with Kyrie Irving, all that stuff. And Kyrie's like, hey, LeBron, now I understand what you were going through when I was a kid and I was playing under you. You know what I'm saying? Like there was all this drama they had to work out. And now when you watch that All-Star game, dude, it's just complete crazy offense. And it's fun. Like they are just having a blast.
Yep.
And the crowd went nuts. They were going nuts all the time.
Good old Charlotte.
And then dude, how awesome is it to have that in Charlotte?
I know, man.
It's incredible to have that in Charlotte. It does nothing but help our economy.
I wish that the Pro Bowl would do the same thing.
Well, the Pro Bowl, they're trying, man. I think part of it's
shade of any other All-Star game.
Well, it's you don't want guys to get hurt is the problem. So if you take the physicality out of the game, it's almost a touch football game right now. Mm-hmm. And they're trying, man. They're trying to do something with the game. It still gets crazy ratings compared to other games, right? That's why we're not going to see a lot of changes because the numbers are so good, right? But when you see how the NBA handles like the All-Star, even the All-Star teams and their scandals, NFL is very different, man. It's just so tough to watch some of them, to watch them do that. I just hate it, But what's been refreshing, and we can change the topic of conversation. I am loving the Alliance football,
dude. I've been watching some highlights from it, and they look all like hungry.
So if you're listening and you don't know what what is it called? American
AAF.
The AAF. Okay, American Alliance of Football. Is that what it is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so this is it's basically a spring league.
Basically like the NBA's D League.
Yeah.
G League.
Yeah, it's a spring league for basically players that were on practice squads, the all-star of college players, basically, it's what it is. There's only, I think, how many teams? 5, 6 teams?
I think it's 6 teams.
Yeah, there's 6 teams. It's very cool. Everything is geographic. In other words, if you live in Florida, there's a Florida team, right? If you live in wherever, in Iowa, there's an Iowa team. Whatever. The only players that were drafted were the quarterbacks, which I thought was a great idea.
Did you see some of the guys have been playing out there?
Yes.
Like Trent Richardson?
Yes. He's still not. He still has the worst vision.
Yeah, I don't understand.
His vision, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. But so the league is cool, the way they set it up. Atlanta, you got people that live close to Atlanta, can be on that team. They only drafted the quarterbacks, right? And then you've got Mike Singletary is coaching a team. You got old Spurrier, old Spurrier down there running his run and gun. Mm-hmm. And dude, did you see what he said after his first win? He said it was a lot easier than it was with the Redskins. I thought that was so funny. He's still taking jabs at the Redskins.
Dude, he's like the crap talking his coach out there.
Yeah, he is.
I love it though.
But the thing I like, they have microphones on all the head coaches have mics.
The replay system.
Man, the replay, the instant replay system. The first time I saw an instant replay,
you're like genius.
And the girl walks up to the screen and she's like walking through the rule, talking herself like through it, watches it, makes a decision. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, because you're able to see exactly.
Yes.
You're able to hear the rule.
Oh,
you're able to know what she's looking at.
And what do you think about the play clock being 25 seconds? Like, do you like that? I think it sped up the game, but the teams are struggling with the 25 seconds.
Yeah,
I see a lot of penalties. Because they try to say, well, it's not going to be a big deal. Our teams got used to it pretty fast. And then I'm watching the games. I feel like I'm seeing 3 or 4 a game. Like with letting the time run out.
It's just hard because obviously their whole life they've been used to
35-second clock, and then the defense is limited. I think they can only send one extra blitzer.
It's a 5-man rush max.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're doing that because let me tell you, there are some of these teams playing some lockdown defense. Like Memphis has a lockdown defense. They are a nasty team. Offensively, they are putrid. And let's talk about putrid quarterbacks. Christian Hackenberg.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I don't think he completed a pass in the first game he played.
What?
Yes. He is awful. Now, in the second game, he started off the same way. Dude, he is so inaccurate. I can't even tell you. But he finally started making some plays. Their team still lost. He's a bad quarterback. He's bad in this league. I don't know. Wasn't he like a second-round draft pick, first-round draft pick?
Second round for the Jets, I think, right?
Oh, my God. Awful. Awful. And then you got the kid Gilbert that's playing for Orlando, that's playing for Spurrier, and is lighting it up down there. Playing excellent at his position. I think there's 2. I think Chris Sims. Is it Chris Sims is his name? Matt Sims. I can't remember. One of the Sims boys is playing for the Atlanta team. Okay. They also have Murray, which is he was a pretty highly touted quarterback.
He play for Georgia?
Yeah. And he's down there, but Sims beat him supposedly, right? And then I think Mike Martz is coaching one of the California teams, I think. All the teams are very different. Like, it's really crazy to watch these guys play and see how they run offenses and defenses. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty
cool
crazy.
Seeing like some old Ravens that play for them.
Yes, and there's a linebacker from the Dolphins that's playing for Orlando that has been playing incredible. I think Orlando may be the strongest team right now because they put I think they put up like 38 points last weekend. I watched the game. First half, it was a close game. Then second half, they went off. They got a wide receiver. They got Charles Johnson that used to play for the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that kid?
Okay.
Yeah. And he is lighting it up. So it's cool to see these players, have a chance to play, get some reps. That's what the league is for. Now, there's rumors this week that they were already having trouble meeting payroll. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, the dude who owns Carolina Hurricanes in North Carolina put a $250 million injection into the league last week. And he is now the director of the league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So basically, he set them up for the future. That $250 million set them up for a long time, right? Like, we're talking for a very, very, very long time. So, still, it tells you how complicated and how hard it is to start a league.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't even sure they were going to make payroll last week, and that was already the second week of the league.
Wow.
So, broadcast. But the broadcast numbers, the first game was like 2.9, 2.8 million people on a Saturday night, which was better than what the NBA had that night. So it tells you how much we love football in this country. I'm enjoying the games. I know Saturdays when I'm done in the studio working, doing whatever, I get home, I'm watching them. Sunday nights, I'm watching them. I like the games. I like we have something to watch. And it's cool to watch these young players. So, but did you watch last week's too?
I did not. I like I said, I watched highlights, but I don't have cable. So
follow them on Twitter, right? Follow them on Twitter, and they announce the schedules. They announce, where they're broadcasting, and they're also on the NFL Reddit streams. If you go to the same link on Reddit,
yeah,
they're posting all the games there too.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun because people on there are like, you can tell Reddit's excited about it. That's a very cool thing. So let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. This is going to be a shorter episode. Our schedule is going to be hit or miss for the next month or two. But we're going to try to do, as NFL news and sports news happens, we'll keep in touch for that. We're in the middle of rebranding everything for the podcast, so just be patient with us, but you'll start seeing some stuff pop up on our Facebook page, all that stuff. Our website's great. Jimmy redid the website about a month ago, and it looks really good. So, but just a reminder of all the platforms that we are on. We are on Spotify. We are on Podbean. We are on Apple Podcast, Apple Music, all that good stuff. Amazon, we're on any podcast format. We are on it, including YouTube, all that good stuff. So I'll try to post the links this week, but you'll see I try to post once or twice a week just to remind everybody what we're doing and what's happening. But I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want to set up our schedule as a podcast. We're going to be changing it up from football, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to brand it, if that makes any sense. But what we may do is just maybe try to put everything together for the season, through the end of the summer. Once football starts, we'll separate it again. I don't know, but we have a few artists that are going to come in and do a podcast with us. There's a few business entrepreneur people that I've talked to that want to come on, and what I sort of feel like, Gage, is that we're probably going to do a season of Welcome to the Bomb House, right? And just maybe once every month or 6 weeks. So we have a total of 6 really long, good Welcome to the Bomb House podcast episodes, and then me and you fill it in with whatever we want, because listen, we're big in Antigua.
I was about to say shout out to Antigua.
If we don't shout out Antigua, we didn't do our job.
Exactly, man.
We're a big deal there, okay?
Yep.
Super, super big deal. But everything's good. The studio's really busy. I've got a lot of stuff going on with the studio, and I know Gage stays busy helping run what he's doing. So this is for fun. We don't do this for anything more than just have fun and to really get the word out about our area, about where we live and what we do, and to let people know we're not complete rednecks out here. Okay?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, boy. But hey, so I do want to challenge you, talking about football and talking about how you represent yourselves and ourselves on social media. If you don't like something, it's cool. We can totally agree to disagree on a subject, but just don't go out there and go crazy.
Make a fool yourself, pretty much.
Yeah. Like if you feel like an anger level of a 10, don't post till you're about a level 2. Right?
All that brings is harm.
Yes, and so what? So what if Cap ends up as a Carolina Panther, or what does it matter? Half of that hype was created by a media to get clicks. It's the bottom line. Okay? You, Gage, listeners, we decide what we spend our money and time on, right? If I am tired of Destiny 2, which I am, I'm done with Destiny 2 for the season.
My goodness.
Well, there's just not much to do right now, and there's other things I want to play. I'm not going to sit there and be mad, and crap post all over them because I think the game's not in a great place. It's just not in a great place. Cool. Right. There's other stuff for me to do. I don't agree with what Fender Guitars does every year with their artists, but I'm not going to go out there and poop on them. Like, did you see the stuff with Ryan Adams that came out with the New York Times?
Yes.
Okay. That's upsetting. That's horrible, by the way. I want to say that. So, of course, JHS Pedals drops Ryan Adams. If you don't know Ryan Adams, there was a huge New York Times article about some things concerning girls. If you want to look it up, go look it up, okay? So, of course, he gets dropped by JHS Pedals and a lot of gear companies. It is a pretty rough article to read. I read it 2 times, actually. Felt bad. It's just awful. Bad situation. Bad situation. Of course, people, get up online and just... One dude posted like 4 paragraphs of how sad he was. He still loves Ryan. I'm like, bro, it's okay. Like, do I agree with what he did? No. But there's going to be consequences for that kind of crap.
Exactly.
And if you're cool with that, then you're fine with that. But but there's some people that are like, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to listen to him. I'm not going to support him. Fine, that's cool. But you don't have to go crazy online. You know what I'm saying? Yes, JHS posted. I thought they did a very noble thing, and some people pooped on it. And I'm like, y'all just don't.
I mean, do you want that support?
These people must be perfect.
Yeah,
I guess they're just perfect. I don't understand that mentality. All that to say, keep it positive, folks. Keep it happy. It's all good. But anyway, hit us up on bombhousepodcast.com. Welcome to the Bombhouse on Facebook. Anything else, Gage, we need to talk about? Are the Turpins going to come hang with us anytime soon?
Yes. See, man, I've been in Florida.
Yeah, you were out of town. You were at a festival.
We've been,
Yeah. So we'll figure that out.
I think if we maybe come back in 2 weeks again.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll get a schedule.
We need that crazy episode.
We'll do it. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody. We do appreciate your listening and your supporting us. And I just want to challenge you, if you're going to go online and debate with people.
Keep it positive.
Yeah.
Friendly debates are fine.
Yes, absolutely. Some of my best friends, we don't agree on everything politically. We don't agree on sports or music and everything, but it's okay. Like, I have to understand where they're coming from as much as they need to understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
It took me a long time not to let social media negatively affect me. I had to figure it out for me, right? And that's what I challenge people. Like, that's what I try to do. But anyway, we do love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Gage, love you, dude.
Love you too, man. It's
Have a good
back.
one. Yes, it is. Last week was weird. It was weird.
This coming week's gonna be weird also.
We'll figure it out.
It's fine.
But I think being on a 2-week news cycle for the NFL will work perfect for what we do. Because good Lord knows there's plenty of drama, bro. Plenty. And I'll tell you, the rumors will start flying a week before free agency. And then the week of free agency, it's going to be nuts. Because midnight, the minute they're allowed to talk to players, there will be GMs and coaches at their front door. Ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
AB, get ready, boy.
Mr. Big Chest, get ready, boy.
He will get paid. And same thing for Le'Veon Bell. They're going to go to teams that are not great.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction.
They're
Probably
both
the
30.
Cardinals, probably the Bills. If I had to pick one, I'd pick the Bills over the Cardinals. But geographically, I think I'd prefer to live at Arizona. Anyway.
One last thing about Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
You see where he signed someone's thing and it's like, hey, Ramsey, you still think I'm trash? And Jalen Ramsey goes, yes, still trash.
Wow! Well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Thank you very much.
So let Ricky do his thing pronto. Finish this session today. He gon' hit you with the mix tomorrow. Produce, record, mix, master it. Sounding so dope that it gets your past a little hit after hit after hit after hit. Hit after hit. Lickety split.